Might be a good time to get going.
Yep.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andrew Waltz, the Director of Programs at NTC Foundation, located at Arts District Liberty Station. Thank you all for joining us for this next hour. We're really excited to get underway with one of our newest programs, Creative Conversations. And if you may have know about us from some of our other more long-running programs, including First Friday Arts District, some of our concerts, movie nights, summer camps, and our public art, which we're really excited about. And you might also have joined us for some of our partner programs with groups like Art Walk and La Jolla Playhouse's WOW Festival, which was just this past weekend. Today, we'll be getting into a talk with Mingei International Museum's Creative Director, Patricia and graphic designer Elizabeth Martinez. We'll touch on Mingei's residency program, as well as some of the creative partnerships that they kind of got underway while at Arts District. And some of the, we'll get a little bit of a insight into their new location in Balboa Park. So we're really excited about that. Thank you again, Patricia and Elizabeth.
Thank you for inviting us. This is a great opportunity.
Oh, yeah. And before we get underway, I just wanted to mention just a couple quick notes for the guests. And thank you so much. I got to say a big shout out. Thank you to our sponsor, the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture. They've supported this program and a number of our other programs over the past, I don't know how many years. So thank you to the city on that front. And also just to let the public know that the Arts District is open for music, dance, art, events dining have all kind of come back or outdoors, and a number of the tenants are operating either in their space kind of with their own safety protocols or outside in the public areas. So there's a lot to see and do. There's a great public art program with 15 public art sculptures in public spaces. And then there's a great new scavenger hunt that helps you kind of explore the area on foot. If you're looking for studio space, there'll be a link in the chat. So there's always a great opportunity to kind of connect and be a part of this creative community. And then just quickly, we do have a great newsletter, so you can kind of stay in touch. You can find us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, and on YouTube. We've been posting a lot of great content there. So I hope everybody can follow us on those locations. And then before we get going, just please note that you can add your comments and questions in the chat, and we'll try to make sure we can cover a lot of those points as we get underway. And welcome again, Patricia and Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited. And with that, maybe could you just let us know a little bit about yourselves and kind of your role and impact at Mingei?
Sure. Thank you, Andrew, for the introduction and for letting us know of the scavenger hunt. I'm looking forward to doing that. I love Liberty Station, where you can do a little bit of everything. So thank you for that. I'll let my colleague Elizabeth introduce herself first.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Elizabeth Martinez. I'm the graphic designer at Minge.
And I am Patricia. I'm the creative director at Mingei. And even though I am relatively new in this position, I have been working with the museum for almost 10 years. I was on the board of trustees for a long time. And I also did some consulting for the museum when they were going through their rebrand. So we go quite a long way with the museum. Elizabeth herself has been working since when have you started working in Minge?
I actually came to Minge as an intern right after I graduated college in 2017. So it's kind of nice just because each little cycle of life has kind of been with the museum. So it's kind of fun to see the renovation grow up just as I'm growing up.
And an interesting piece of information is that Elizabeth and I go way back before Mingei. Elizabeth was my student at San Diego State. In my previous job, I was a professor in the School of Art and Design at SDSU for 11 years. And Elizabeth was in my branding class. So afterwards, and I didn't hire her. She was here before me. So it was fate that we had to work together. And we are now the You're looking at the crew that, together with Ashley, who is in the background, who does the writing, and Ron, who does the photography. We do all of the public-facing communications from the museum, from digital, printed, newsletters, membership materials, exhibition materials, advertising. So we create the strategy, we do the writing, we do the photos. It's a little cottage industry here in our office. And it's a terrific opportunity because right now, as we will tell you, we're going through a renovation of really a transformation from our facilities. And with that, everything is being rethought. So Elizabeth and I work very closely together in just this morning. Can you tell them what you were doing this morning with that map?
Yeah, so I'm creating a map brochure, and basically it's just a layout of our gallery level and our commons level. We're having our commons level be kind of like the living room for Balboa Park. So everyone is welcome to come in. It's free for the public. There's going to be a cafe, a shop, a bistro, and it's all just going to be free to the public. And we'll even have some art cases. So you can kind of shop, dine, eat, and
don't tell them too much. Don't spoil the surprise.
Basically, it'll be really fun. But yeah, we were working on some map brochures. So by the time we have reopening, you guys will see it.
Elizabeth is a very, very talented information designer. Anything that has to do with signage, icons, maps. She's really, really our person. We really rely on her very much. And we try to find an opportunity to use her talents in everything we do. So even in our new bathrooms, when you come and visit us, there's design on the door of the bathrooms. Just watch out. So we won't tell you more to motivate you to come here. But she really is very, very good. I'm more like the orchestra director of all of these creative efforts. And I love this job. I love Mingei. And we are here today in our brand new office, and we have our shelf in the background that we're sharing with you. And maybe some of you, just like Andrew, are very curious about what we have there. And we thought that maybe we share with you. You want to share your favorite object, Elizabeth, from our shelf? We've been really populating it with a lot of very interesting craft and design objects to make us feel more at home here.
Patricia, as you get ready to show us that, I was curious, could you tell us a little bit about Mingei's mission and kind of, I mean, for the uninitiated or for the folks who may not have seen the previous location?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, so Minge is a museum of folk art, craft, and design. And the word Minge literally means in Japanese, art of the people. So it's a museum of art, of objects of everyday use, and art created mostly, not all of it, but mostly by unknown people. So we're here to celebrate human creativity in all its forms. Some of the work that we do has very well-known craftspeople or artisans or designers behind it, but most of the work is really work that comes from our everyday lives, from specific cultures. So we are not a museum about paintings or art on the world. Art on the wall. We're mostly about objects of everyday use. So you'll see that our collection has combs and cookie cutters and special shoes for harvesting rice. So it's very connected to ethnic studies, to culture, to everyday life, to material studies. So it's a very, very interesting and in a way quirky museum. It will always surprise and delight you when you come here. And our goal is really to make everybody feel welcome and creative. So we have lots of programs that are about co-creation and about inspiring people to recognize the craft, the value of the craft and folk art around them, but also to make their own. I don't know if you would add anything else to that, Elizabeth.
I would say just functional items that we see beauty in. Like maybe it's not paintings or just like the most extravagant glass case, but one of my favorite objects, which is coming up in one of our new exhibits, is actually a shrimp trap. And we just have, you know, objects like that. Like maybe it's a really interesting dustpan, maybe it's a shrimp trap, maybe it's things that you won't necessarily recognize as like traditional art. But I think there's a lot of beauty in finding kind of just something really nice in these really common objects.
And again, these are objects that are handmade, almost exclusive.
The majority, although we do collect also design objects that are manufactured industrially, but mainly, and especially that's how the museum started, is with objects made by hand. Another misconception about Minge is that we are a Japanese art museum or an Asian only art museum, and that is really not true. We collect from all cultures. I'm Mexican, and I love that we have here one of the most important folk art collections in the country. Yeah. And Elizabeth likes the shrimp trap because it's from the Philippines.
Yeah, and I'm Filipino, so it's always kind of nice to feel represented by our collection.
It's great. I love those personal connections to the objects that you can see in the gallery.
Yeah.
Can we show our pig now?
Oh, sorry. I didn't need a, yeah, please.
Should we stop sharing the screen? Would that be easier?
Yeah, let's stop sharing the screen.
We're just gonna stop
there you
sharing
go.
it momentarily.
Okay. The pig is important.
So this, it's a log pig, right?
It's a log pig.
It's a log pig. Like it has its little snout and its eyes. Patricia brought it in recently. And its tail is just like this coiled copper wire. And yeah, we just love it. It just feels very Minge. It's very handcrafted, humble material, wood. It just feels great.
I love that. Did you know the origins of it?
Do you know the origins?
It's from Ohio, but I don't know the craftsperson that did it, like many of the objects here. And by the way, there's lots of super cute pigs in our collection for the exhibition that we're having for the reopening, which is Humble Spirit, Priceless Art. As you enter the exhibition, there's a corn husk piggy. So you have to come and see it.
So this is
wow.
Pig. We want to see corn cob pig next.
Wow. I was just going to say it's been more years than I care to remember, but I actually saw an exhibit on Dolly Parton, and she had made corn husk dolls way back as a little girl. So it's interesting to see how people create these objects. And it's not just for utility. It's really, I mean, it helps you exemplify your creativity, you know, in areas of play. So yeah, that's amazing. I'm gonna have to come and get my own piggy. So we're so excited for your new space, but can you, for the folks who may not know, and hopefully everybody knows, you've kind of had a little bit of a home away from home over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And just to let everybody know, you know, while your building has been under significant renovations, both your admin offices as well as shop and cafe Minge have kind of had their little home away from home here at Liberty Station, which has been amazing to kind of just be a part and see that of the activity and see all that happening. And I'm just wondering if you could share any insights to your time while on campus.
So we were there for, I believe, 3 years.
3 years since 2018, I want to say.
In Liberty Station. And even though I did not work at Liberty Station, I went there for many meetings, board meetings, consulting meetings. Elizabeth did, and from what I hear, everybody had a great experience working from there. What did you like about working there?
I loved a lot of things. So one of my favorite parts about being in Liberty Station was just the fact that we're surrounded by so much art already. Like I loved seeing like the Day of the Dead altar in October, and just walking to New Americans. I love seeing Carrie Ann Quick's show at New Americans. Yeah, she's so great. And what was really nice, well, something I really missed at Minge, just our building, was kind of stepping into art and feeling inspired. So I really like that at Liberty Station, I could still kind of do the same thing. Like I could walk outside our office, there would be kind of like this rotating gallery of like paintings. There'd be those little yarn bombs just hanging around. I could walk into like, you know, just a bunch of art without even like planning to, like it was just very immersive. And another thing that I really miss is just the close distance to food. So like we could just walk to, you know, the public market. We could go to Con Pane every day. We could do that. And something that I'm really missing now in Balboa Park is just kind of that close proximity to food. So we lose things and we gain some. But what's nice too is that soon in the future, our bistro will open. So soon it'll just be downstairs, which will be great.
Apart from all those advantages of working there and really feeling immersed in an environment that provided everything at close hand, something that was really good for the museum was that we had a space where we could collaborate with one another very closely without any distractions, without deadlines for a while. And it really was, Liberty Station really gave us a space for experimenting. It really was an incubating period for us. And Liberty Station was perfect for that because there was a lot of different programs and concepts. We had a new strategic plan, a new brand, new materials, and new education programs, and new membership programs. All of this was really gestated during our time at Liberty Station. And among the different initiatives that we got started was the residency program. And the idea of the residency program was, and Elizabeth is going to show you some slides. Part of the, I think it's higher up. Yes, there you go. Thank you for remembering. I get talking and forget. So part of the idea with the residency programs is that we could invite local, or maybe in the future they could be national or international craftspeople or folk artists that could come and work, produce a body of work connected to the museum. And that is really important for Minge in the sense that we're making proof of one of our goals, which is promote content generation, be part of content generation with the local community. And we can do it in small ways, like in a classroom, or we can do it in big ways, like we did in Liberty Station in 2019 with Miki Iwasaki and Jason Lane. What you're seeing on the screen is the FaceTime sculpture by Miki Iwasaki that is still there. And it was great to work with Liberty Station to getting these residencies going. I think that we could not have had a better partner in terms of openness, support, and also the space for doing this. These sculptures are to remain there. We're not going to take them back to the museum. And part of the artist's intentions is to leave them integrate themselves in the public space with patina, with the passing of time. They want the material to change, therefore to blend better in the environment. In this piece, FaceTime by Miki, his goal was that to create a space where people could go inside and do a little bit of a hide and seek and talk in between the perforations in the middle, sort of a form of sheltering place in the very open expanses of Liberty Station. He also, with the structure, he wanted to break the grid of the buildings at Liberty Station that could be at times a little bit too rigid. So it was part of adding some play to that So that's the first one. The second one, oh, so these are some paper models that he did. You wanna talk a little bit about when this happened,
I'll
Elizabeth?
talk a little bit about it. So this was during Art Walk. I want to say this was a model making activity Nikki did. So yeah, I think during this Art Walk is when the Nikki Gator was also unveiled. So we had this and Nikki Gator. And here you can see, Nikki and just some nice little collaboration with the little model makings of the paper model.
It takes it really takes a very special skill, a special talent, I would say, when an artist or a craftsperson can translate what they do, their own creativity, to others, to share it with others so they can experience the same creative process. And he did that through these models. He made them on paper and kids could cut them out and assemble them and talk about space and meaning and material. So he was really, really talented at doing this.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing too, just to see all these little folds in paper and then just going back to like seeing this, to seeing like the full structure and kind of just seeing how those folds translate from paper to metal.
Mm-hmm.
And just to add on to it for the folks who may not have seen it at home yet, I remember part of the discussions early on were about this whole sense of FaceTime, and it's the title of the piece, and there's creating these kind of intimate spaces in this larger environment. And they're really, I mean, I hate to use this reference, but it's kind of, there really is this field of dreams moment where, he built it and people congregate and you have these kind of face-to-face interactions. And how effective it has been at kind of creating this venue for these kind of exchanges of ideas. But also the patina, I think it's amazing. So for the folks at home, if you come by and check it out any different day, while here you see kind of this shiny, fresh kind of steel surface, it certainly ages in seasons, if you will. And so the colors kind of just change over time with oxidation, but it's really interesting to see it. It'll look different, month to month to some degree.
The other residency that we did was with Jason Lane. Jason primary medium is hand molded concrete, which may sound a little brutalistic or too construction based, but he makes these incredible patterns and structures that are very delicate and soft out of these very hard materials. So this contrast between the softness and the smoothness of what he creates with the intrinsic qualities of the material, it gives his pieces a very unique tension. And he really created, his idea was to create, the piece is called tinselation because it's made out of tinsel concrete. I'm not a concrete expert, I'm sorry, but I found interesting that there's such a term. So it's not only a visual texture, but also a tactile one. And it's a wall where he creates a place, a moment in Liberty Station where people can stop, contemplate, and take a breather, take a rest under a beautiful tree. Do we have an image of the other side? These are his pieces. Look at that. He molds them out of concrete. Yeah. The other side of this wall has a bench, a wooden bench, and the wooden bench is meant to establish a connection with the post and beam buildings around Liberty Station and also to the shipbuilding industry. So it's when you commission art specific work, that's a wonderful aspect of it, is that you have the artist really responding to what is around them and what the meaning of the materials are. So it's a great shaded place. The dappled light of the tree really adds an incredible quality to this very, very unique, almost like hypnotic shapes.
This
So
is
we-
another one that also kind of sits in that space really well, and patinas with moss and plants that kind of grow in and around it. And it gives you this sense of kind of this much longer, greater legacy and history. So it feels contemplative when you sit there.
Yeah, this was just like this image was just at the start of when it was installed. But I remember like the last time I saw it, there was just grass and moss growing all around. So it's kind of nice to see like how the environment plays with the object. Really like this piece.
And I think that this is a good moment when we can talk a little bit about design and how it connects to Mingei. We're very or more known, better known for folk art and craft. And design is an arm of the museum that is not as well known and maybe not as extensive as the other two. But it was really with these two residencies that we saw an opportunity of really expanding that and strengthening that part of Mingei. And these two residencies really made it very palpable that in craft, in folk art, there is design. If you think of design as the intentionality of material, of form, of composition, of texture, of pattern, that is what design is. And if you think of that as design, design is in everything. So in a part of that, and also in working with Mickey and Jason, we wonder if these two artists are making this in San Diego, behind sometimes a small studio, a small door, right? Who else? What else is out there that we don't know of? We want to really give a stage for these craftspeople. So not celebrate only the craftspeople of Mexico and the Philippines and Japan, but celebrate the craftspeople that we have here in San Diego. And that's when the thinking about the idea to sponsor and organize San Diego Design Week came about. So this was another idea that was incubated in Liberty Station from the beginning. And we'll talk about it. Please have your questions ready. We'll be happy to talk about Design Week afterwards, but it's happening in September 8th to the 12th this year in its second edition. But this was really a very, very strong connection. But going back to Liberty Station and this mantra of Mingei of celebrating people's creativity and facilitating creation for them. Do you want to tell them a little bit what happened at the shop during the time we were there?
Yeah, so during our renovation, I would say that our most public places for Mingei just to be so visible was the shop and the cafe. And Shop Mingei was really a place for collaboration. And at Shop Mingei, we actually held a couple workshops. So one of the workshops we held was the Pinata as a Narrative with Diana Benavides. You can see pictures of the pinata here. And rather than kind of seeing the pinata as, just something you hit a stick with, it was more so kind of using the pinata as a way to convey like a personal message. Here she is. And you can see Carrie in the background. But the shop just kind of became a center for collaboration.
The space that we had at Liberty Station for the shop couldn't have been better. We didn't know how it was going to do because at the end of the day, we were tucked in the Commander Center. And people knew us for being in Balboa Park. So it was a big experiment. And the space was light filled and it was roomy. And it was the first thing that you saw when you entered the building. So many of our faithful shoppers and followers followed us to Liberty Station. And we also developed a new local clientele around the people that frequent Liberty Station for the other activities. So that was a very, very successful venture for us during that time, and a great way of continuing some level of activity with our members and our Mingei community. These workshops were. So we're going to miss that. We're going to miss we have a new shop, but I have to say that it doesn't quite feel as home as the one we had in Liberty Station. We're at the stage, when you move into a new house, and you're breaking it in, and you're finding
You'll get there.
Where to put things and how to find your place there. And so we're missing Liberty Station somewhat. Yeah, in our big fancy building.
For the past number of years, I had frequented shop Mingei back in Balboa Park, and when I was always looking for something that was interesting and handmade as just a thought-provoking gift. And so, but I would go there to shop, and I didn't realize until you were at Liberty Station that space is so much more. And Elizabeth, as you mentioned, it's kind of like this communing space. And so, between being able to grab a coffee or in the morning and see activities, and like the reading corner with kids and families, and in the afternoons and the evenings, having like kids and adult classes, again, kind of helping folks exemplify what the mission is through hands-on demos and classes. It's just always great to see kind of this brimming activity happening. And it wasn't in some sterile like classroom, it was in the shop, which kind of made it feel kind of more engaging.
I'd say that's one of the most, the strongest parts about Minge is that there's a really clear, honest, and strong connection between what you see in the exhibit, what our activities, what people make, and all our education programs are about, and what you buy in the store. I mean, this new museum is going to be even further in what you eat in the restaurant. We're going to have a restaurant that is based on the aromas, the spices, and the herbs from different parts of the world. So everything is coming full circle. Everything is very much aligned with our mission, which is very, very rich and very rewarding to work with and enjoy. So
I can't wait to experience that. Before we go too much further, I wanted to double check. We mentioned a little bit about your two earlier installations at the station, but I thought it would be remiss to just mention kind of the significance of the third piece. I don't know if either of you want to kind of tell us a little bit about our guest, Nikki Gator, who was on campus.
Oh, okay. I think Elizabeth is good friends with her, so I'll let her talk about her friend.
Right here. So this is Nikki Gator. She is right in front of shop Mingei. She is actually still here. And sorry, give me 1 second. Oh, I just love looking at her. But basically, her vacation is soon coming to an end, and she'll be moving back home to her home here at Mingei in September. So just a couple more weeks with her. And basically, Nikki Gator is like a public work of art and play. So she's kind of nice to admire from afar. But I mean, everyone can kind of just climb on top of her, which I think is really cool for like an art piece, just to kind of interact with it, climb with it. Some of our coworkers have actually had like children who've kind of grown up with Nikki Gator. So there's pictures of like them as babies with Nikki, and them as they've like grown up, and now they're like in the 4th grade. So she's just such a timeless piece.
It's really it's very sweet to hear how many kids in San Diego have grown up climbing Nikki Gator. I think that all of us who have children have pictures of our kids going over, in and out Nikki Gator, and she made lots of new friends at Liberty Station that I'm sure are going to follow her to Balboa Park. And we really thank NTC for giving us such a great location for her and great exposure. Just this morning, coincidentally, we have a second sculpture by Nikki de Sanfal, who was, as you might know, worked in San Diego for many years and was a very close friend of our founder, Martha Longenecker, and therefore a big supporter of the early days of the museum. And just this morning, her other sculpture was moved into the Alcazar garden, Poet and His Muse. It was, look out for social media, Minge, you're gonna see some videos of how it was moved. It's a big endeavor to move these sculptures.
I think just for also for perspective for folks who might not recognize or are new to public art, kind of like you think of some cities have an iconic piece. You know, if you go to Chicago, there's the Millennium Park and the chrome bean, and if you go to Philadelphia, there's the big love sculpture. But I just have always thought of Nikki's work as kind of our San Diego iconic sculptural artist, and you know, she's got work in downtown, and she's got work in La Jolla and many other neighborhoods. So it's just always been great to see something that you just feel is this, you know, iconic San Diego art form. I also just wanted to mention while we're on Nikki Gator too, for the folks who may not know, over the last couple of years since Nikki has been on vacation, we've been sharing Nikki holiday or Nikki vacation photos. So if you happen to stumble upon this piece and you want to share some creative photography with you, your family, or pets, you know, we'd love to see that kind of love shared on social media. Just know that you're having fun and enjoying the public art. Yeah. Oh, one other point I also wanted to mention while you're there, brand new to some of our programming at the Arts District, just this summer, we've launched our signature public art scavenger hunt. And so each of the public art pieces, there's around 15 or so, they have little QR codes. And so you can start at any single one of them. When you show up and you find something kind of unexpected, you can use your phone and scan the QR code, and it'll take you on a really fun little scavenger hunt to see and explore each of these pieces. You can do this probably about half an hour. You can take as long as you want to. And when you get enough of them, you can get a prize, and there's a lot of fun little discounts and fun things, a glass of wine at Solari. There's a bunch of other cool stuff. So it kind of pays to kind of go and explore and get creative. But I just wanted to let people know quickly about that fun new project. Let's see, so we have about 15 minutes left. Do we want to chat a little bit about the new space, or did I miss any other topics we want to talk about?
Sure. I think that with the new space, maybe can we go back one slide to the branding? Because we have a new space and we have new branding also that was developed while at Liberty Station. We have a new logo, and the typeface that you see in it has also a custom-made typeface by Brazilian designer, resident of San Diego, Yomar Augusto. So our logo was he was inspired by one of our pieces in the collection, which is this dress, which is, in my opinion, the ultimate Mingei object. It's an object of use that is created out of cigar labels. And he was inspired by the shapes in this dress to create what we call a responsive box, which is that shape around the logo. And it really is a shape that responds to the text that it's inside it in a way that the different parts of the dress respond to the stripes. In some of them, they're horizontal, they're woven, they're vertical, they're stitched, they're different ways of working with one same module or one same shape in different ways. So that's how, in an abstract way, the dress is represented in our new logo. And we're working, Elizabeth and I, every day, we're still testing it out, like the new building.
Yeah.
We're very close to developing some brand guidelines, but it's been a really fun year of producing many materials with this new brand that I think that you will get to see when you're here, if you're our member, in our membership materials too. Do you want to show some images from our new building?
Yes. So we now have, instead of just having one main entrance like we had in the past, I want to say there's about 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like more than 7 entrances. And we now have an entrance at the Alcazar garden lot. This is going to be one of our biggest entrances besides the main entrance. So this is my new favorite entrance to walk into. I just love the way that the light catches. I feel like the old building felt a little dark and stuffy, but now there's so much natural light pouring into the space. So it's nice to see the garden right there.
This entrance was there, but it wasn't open. So now you'll be able to walk through from Alcazar through the commons level to the Plaza de Panama and grab a coffee in the way, or eat something, or see some art, or go to the bathroom. So
we have nice bathrooms.
We have very nice bathrooms. So or shop for something. So the commons level will be completely free. So that's really a central concept, is the civic-minded space, this space where everybody can enjoy and socialize. It's our gift to the park.
I can't wait to explore that. That looks like such an amazing dynamic space. Are there any other new favorite places you're excited for the public to see?
You want to tell them about the restaurant?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is our restaurant space. You can kind of see these beer taps over here. Our beer taps have this like twisted metal, and that's inspired by one of our outdoor pieces in the courtyard. Above it is a piece we commissioned from Cloudy Youngstra. And I describe it. It's
a wool tapestry.
A wool tapestry, and she dyed it with indigo. And what's really cool about it is that she grows her own plants to make the dyes for this piece. She shears her own sheep. So the wool, like everything to do with this piece is just from her down from like the dye, the wool, everything.
So craft has a big role in the contemporary building itself. You're looking here at 3 examples. So the beer taps, handmade, handcrafted, the tapestry, same thing. And if you look at the ceiling, which is, we'll spare you the story for another time, but there's a story behind everything we do at the museum. And there's a story about every craft installation that is inside the museum.
That's wonderful. I can't wait. Cool. Well, just to remind everybody, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to add it into the chat. And we're happy to try to field any other notes. Are there any other topics you'd like to kind of tell us about or explore as we get ready to wrap up?
So this is our fence, which you'll be able to see in Balboa Park as you walk around the Plaza de Panama. This is actually on the exterior, and it's a fence along our courtyard, so you'll be able to relax, read a book, go on the terrace, and overlook Palm Canyon and very contemporary architecture amidst the Balboa Park historic building. So it's really, Minge is really setting a paradigm on how to integrate contemporary architecture in our historic landscape. So that's really something to really appreciate and see. So we look forward to hearing what you think and to enjoying this brand new space. And below this, where you see that photograph, is our new theater. So you see it also from the outside.
Oh yeah, I've seen that as we drive by into the Alcazar garden. So it looks amazing, and the color and the way the light hits it is beautiful. Wonderful. Well, I think we covered most of what we wanted to. Do you want to share a little bit about any of these other spaces?
Well, this is the last one. It's just the commons level from a different angle. This is from our cafe. And just to wrap it up, we don't have photographs here, but we hope you come and enjoy it on our reopening weekend, which is on September 3rd. That is Labor Day weekend. Throughout Sunday, the museum will be free also on the gallery level, where you can see our 2 reopening exhibitions, and also experience the terraces which will be open to the public for the first time in 42 years. So lots to look forward to, and just remember, Labor Day weekend, free to the public, come and see us.
And actually, I just see a quick note before we get ready to wrap up. One of our other great arts district creative groups, Malashok Dance, looks like they're going to be partnering with you coming up. So
that's right. Yes.
I think it's just a great reminder that your space is going to be a really cool venue for all kinds of arts and culture to just pop up and unfold throughout your new space.
There'll be music, I think Indian dancing too, kids activities on Sunday. So lots to do and see.
Do you want to remind everybody how they can come find you and about your next big event coming up before we go?
It's going to be that weekend. That weekend is going to be open to the public. So from Friday the 3rd to the 5th, it will be free and open to the public. So
come by.
And then right after that, we have San Diego Design Week.
San Diego Design Week starts on September 8th, which is Wednesday. And it's going to be a mix of in-person and virtual events. So if you go to our website, sandiegodesignweek.org, you can see there the programming, the lineup. Some events will be at the museum, but there will be events all over the city. So I encourage you to participate, make an itinerary. There's self-guided tours, there's bicycle tours, there's tour, studio tours, there's public art, demos, lots and lots of things to do.
I can't tell you how excited I am for San Diego Design Week. So I think that'll be great to see how it unfolds again. Well, thank you so much both for your time. Thank you to the whole Mingei team for your time and for kind of welcome us into this behind the scenes look at everything that makes the institution such an amazing and creative resource for San Diego and our visitors. I also really want to thank City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture for supporting our programs and help us provide programming like this for the public. Also, for everybody who joined either live or watching this after the fact, please take just a minute or two, and we have a little survey you can fill out and just let us know about your thoughts and what you'd like to see in future programming. So your feedback always really helps. And then just as a quick just shout out, we are hosting another Creative Conversations with one of our newer tenants, Imperfects, on Tuesday, September 28th at 6 p.m. Imperfects kind of mindfully crafts goods for the human experience. It's a new concept which focuses on highlighting the good in our natural differences as people. So I think it's gonna, for all the folks who are here, it's gonna be a really interesting next episode to tune in for. So thank you again to our amazing guests and your team. Thank you to the public. Thank you to our sponsors, and we look forward to seeing you at the next Creative Conversation.